excited than ever than this aspect right here. And we're going to talk gameplay. And we're talking gameplay for both college football and Madden. So lock in with me here for about the next 15 plus minutes as we go over everything that we're delivering this year in gameplay. So first things first, this is your game. And over the past couple years, when you talk about these two games, one thing that you've been very adamant about is consistency and consistency of features. You don't want to see wear and tear in this game over here and not in this game over here. Anything that has been important or essential to core football, you've wanted that in both games, right? And so we listened to you and we understand. And so with that, we looked at everything. But we took a lot of the main, what we would call here that I'm going to outline for you. We looked at the differences between both games and really tried to make sure that they were different in their own right. That Saturday played like Saturday and Sunday played like Sunday. So again, one of those is on the sticks. How does the game feel, right? Typically college has been wide open. We still want that to be. It's about a game of big plays, but we did a lot more here. You look at playbooks, I think we've done as good a job as anybody. Right? We added over 2,500 new plays, probably plus. We've done a lot now in this realm, so stay with me as we go in here. And then coverage. What does coverage look like? What does a blanket corner in college look like comparative to the NFL? In the trenches, these are where games are won and lost, right? And so we've done a ton of work there. And then AI play. AI play, big point of emphasis for us this year. Abilities. I've always had that same back end, but I spoke two different languages. So a lot of cool things that were going on there. And then home field advantage, a big factor on wins and losses, on how these teams prevail and move on into the postseason, something that had to be accounted for. So let's continue on. Again, going back to that, this is your game. The main thing that you asked for was that you wanted more tools defensively, and that was a focus. Not only did you want more tools, we really needed to shore up the coverage area, so we'll talk about that. Next is this is our built from game day. This is our authenticity pillar. This is where every team is somebody's favorite team. So we wanted to make sure that everything that they are showing, we are bringing to the digital gridiron. And last but not least is my favorite pillar. This is taking the two previous pillars and talking about how do we give you the tools to play your way. All right, so defense wins championships. You've heard it, and what you're going to see here, I think we're going to prove that. What's new? First is coverage. This is the biggest coverage revamp in the history of EA Sports Football. I will gladly put that stake in the ground, and you're going to see why. Something that adds to that, we're adding a new feature called Smart Zones. Next is, again, and this is for a lot of the scrambling cheesers, I know we got a couple back over here, is that those guys that love to just roll out and boot. And now you're not going to see linebackers just staring and looking into space with no one to guard. Guys will lock and chase and really take care of that organized chaos that we see every weekend. Red zone specific behavior. No longer guys on hitches or corner routes behind in the back of the end zone. They are now playing with the knowledge of what is behind them and to correctly use their leverage. And then one of my favorites, and that you're going to see later on here, is we've added double team improvements, inside out, bracket logic, and just a new coverage focus mechanic that really allows you to put the tools in your hands to take away the other team's best player. And then for a lot of the heavy X's and O's guys out there, this game is as detailed as it's ever been, as we're adding user-controlled coverage checks. And then we bring everything home with what you see over the weekend is that hand-to-hand combat that's going on the outsides with our new wide receiver DB jostle mechanics. First, when you talk about revamping and overhauling our zones, we had to add look for work. What is look for work? Before, in games in Madden and college football history, you could have a middle linebacker sitting there, a crosser that is coming, and he doesn't play him until he enters his zone. Look for work now allows our CPU defenders to play with anticipation. This is a game changer when it comes to the defensive game. And as you can see here, I think we have Ernest Jones in this clip. He's moving, passing along a crosser to then get to another crosser. So he was playing it. He's going to take this, pass this crosser off, jump the next crosser again, playing with anticipation, making the play. Again, something you're going to feel immediately. Next is smart zones. This is giving you, both at an individual and team level, the ability to play a particular zone. Do you want to take that drag route? Well, now you have the ability to play aggressive or ultra aggressive. Is the quarterback consistently throwing that two ball over your head, running that deep crosser? Put him in conservative or ultra conservative. The options are now yours, both, again, on a team or individual level. And here's an example. Running slant and out to the flat, ultra conservative setting on, jumping the routes. Again, all that creativity now is just right there in your hands. Okay, and then one of my favorite aspects of what we're doing, we talked about the coverage adjustment checks. We've added 25 different custom brand new checks to the game this year. So again, how do you want cover 1 to play trips? How do you want cover 4 to play bunch? All the options are there, both in the front end, in your coach settings. So again, the world is your oyster when it comes to the defensive game this year. All right, now let's talk about the physical part of the game and what you see, again, on every Saturday and Sunday. And that's the wide receiver DB press. Yes, we have had this before, but what's new this year is that in previous years, receivers would just try to win, and they had no concept of what route they were previously running. In real life, if I'm running a comeback or I'm running an out route, I typically want to win to the outside, and now that is the case. On the other side, on the defensive side, if you're in a shade technique and he wants to get inside, that leverage is more important now than ever. We have boosted those win chances for the defensive side of the ball. So a great cat and mouse game. And then you combine that with receivers and their ability to now actually come back and play the ball, we got something good here cooking. And now, wide receiver DB jostle. So with our friends up at FC have doing a phenomenal job with this feature in the past. We wanted a two-player system that didn't feel all snatchy and attached and feel like it was so scripted. And so DB with the wide receiver jostle, you can attach at 3 different points. You can attach on the move, you can attach at the cut point, or we like to call it the stem of the route, or when the ball is in flight. Now, for the first time in a Madden football game on the defensive sides, great corners like Aeneas Williams or Richard Sherman, guys who were fast but not top of the league fast, but who were elite at technique, being physical. Now when you attach and you can stay in phase with the receiver, you will slow him down. Again, this is not for everybody, not every matchup, because you got to still watch out for the burners like Tyreek Hill and others with that high 90 speed that can run away from you. But again, this is changing the timing of the routes. It changes the old visual look of the game. And again, defensively, this visual look and feel is something you're really going to appreciate and just think of where has this been all along. All right, now let's get into our Built from Game Day section. Again, our authenticity pillar. And when you talk about the differences between 2 games, nothing speaks to that more than playbooks. We've added over 1,500 new plays. And then one special one I'd point out is the shotgun power eye tight formation from West Virginia. Pretty cool stuff there. Next is short yardage gameplay, a continued investment in the trenches. Again, that's where games are won and lost, but more in particular, inside the red zone, inside the 5. From there, we go into Smart Coach 2.0. For years, my guy Chad, other guys in the community, we've talked about our real-time coaching engine, which is second to none in this industry, and it's our adaptive, all the different tools that we got with adaptation. Pro football focus knowledge and scheme in there. And for years we've heard, hey, all these adjustments are going on. Why can't it just do it for me? Well, now you have that chance. You're going to see these hints that pop up in Madden, and it says, hey, we suggest this, this, and this. Hey, we're going to maybe pinch the line, show blitz. You can hit square and opt into it right at pre-play. You'll see the art change, and it's really rewarding when everything comes together. Next, in our quest to make the ball carrier, CPU ball carrier that is, as authentic and real looking as what you see in real life, or just make it feel and look more like a human, we have integrated a machine learning ball carrier pathing system. Some really exciting stuff going on in that field. And then sim heads rejoice because hot and cold is here, it's back, and it's back in a way that you've wanted. Again, you're going to see a lot more highs and lows, not as much as what you see in college, but they say the kids at home will tell you, hey, you got to let the boys cook. So if my man Stafford is out here rolling the MVP, you're going to see it out here on Sunday. Coach chat, whether you're a coach at home, right, or you're seeing it on Saturdays, the ups and downs of these student athletes. You see some coaches maybe console and talk to a kid, or he just has to lay into them. Well, our version of that is introducing coach chat. Open up the dynamic subs menu, go down to the player that has the cold icon on him because he's rattled, go talk to him. But you only get 3 of these per game. Coach has got to coach, right? So you got to be very mindful. But it will take a cold player all the way back to neutral, level set him, and then get him ready to play the rest of the game. And then home field advantage. Again, Simheads, you've asked for this for years, but this is brought back in the most correct way possible. This is only impacting the visiting team. The biggest environments such as Seattle, New Orleans, Kansas City, everybody has their own home field, but they are replicated as much as anyone because, again, playing a game in December should be much different than playing a game in January. And then dynamic weather. I know a lot of you have been reading a lot of forums. There's been a lot of assumptions around this. Dynamic weather is as cool as it gets, and nothing speaks to home field advantage like dynamic weather. And then abilities. We mentioned abilities earlier. And you know what? Let's get right to that. What are we doing with abilities? First off, when you look at abilities, it was important for us to have a unified football identity. Again, same back end, but they have both been speaking 2 different languages. And you guys, the fans, it is your game, have told us clearly that you prefer the college system of abilities, right? And so you look here at Colin Simmons, one of the best defensive ends in all of college football. He's got 5 physicals, right? We've had that, but that's his limit. So then how are we doing this on Madden? Now Madden is also having the tiered ability system, right? But we needed to have distinct progression here. When you talk about Madden, there is bronze to gold. Those are the tiers. But unlike college, where you get a percentage better at that set ability, here, each ability, or most abilities, come with different tools and weapons in your toolbox that really makes every player feel elite immediately. And then last but not least is that abilities in Madden are unlimited that you can have on a particular player. See it as, when you go to Madden, that is the prime of your career. And then hot and cold, we just mentioned that. Well, how does that impact here? We have X Factors. X Factors will still be in Madden. The Heisman tier is still in college. You got to let the boys cook to get up to that Heisman tier. But with that being said, you could still meet the criteria of an X Factor ability, but if you're cold, it doesn't matter. So you got to be at least getting close to hot or a neutral and really get it going before your X Factor can activate. Now, let's get into the trenches. Here it is. Just over the years, our game has never looked the way it looks over the weekend, that being Saturday and Sunday. But I guess we're playing football, it seems like, every day this week. But again, we have added a ton. 2-man Adams, 3-man Adams, 4-man Adams, submarine technique, cut block technique, as you can see here in last year's Madden 26, and just the QB sneak. And then what we've added here, here's the real life of what a quarterback sneak looks like. We needed to bring it all together and make you really fight for every yard. And so now you can see our all new quarterback sneak meter. Again, you're seeing different levels of green. Well, what changes the green? Now with the quarterback sneak meter, we're looking at your center, your 2 guards, who's in the A gaps, how many are in the A gaps, and then is it home field advantage? What type of pressure situation is of it? Are you going for it on 4th and 2? Is it 4th and a short 1? All of these things play into the different types of outcomes on how, again, that meter, how fast that meter will go. All right, and then talking about in between the tackles, nothing says that more than pounding the rock. Championship teams got to have a foundational run game. So what we did here, this is talking about just CPU ball carriers only. We've used our cloning machine learning technology. We've put the controllers in some of the best hands in the studio to train this model. And this touchdown run that you are seeing is by a CPU ball carrier, something that we wouldn't see before. Again, they'll go inside, stay up the middle if they can, bounce it outside, get to the sidelines. And one of the most exciting parts of this is that it's a year 1 implementation. So where we're at now, we're super excited about, and then where we're going to go in the future is an awesome foundational beginning. All right, home field advantage. Whether it's Stafford trying to win a game in a cold, snowy Philadelphia, or Kansas City and Josh Allen is trying to pull it off inside of Arrowhead, you can look it up. Arrowhead in particular, and I think a few others, are louder than maybe 100,000 at LSU at night. Again, home field advantage is a factor depending on the team, depending on the year. Could be a 3+ point, odd when it comes to the NFL game. So it is just absolutely vital that we made this happen in a way. And how we're delivering this is very authentic to the NFL. A decimal meter will be placed on the top left-hand corner of the screen. You don't see the squiggly lines that you'll see in college. You won't see the meter pop up as much as you do in college, but it's very, very authentic to the game. And then, like I mentioned before, nothing speaks to home field advantage more than dynamic weather. We all saw what the AFC Championship looked like and just how the game changed in a half inside of Denver. Right? And that is the same thing that can happen in your game in both college and Madden. Okay? It can be clear and then it can get snowy. It can be just coming down hard and then clear up. And again, as the weather gets worse, the gameplay gets tougher. Movement starts to be affected, right? You remember us talking about this last year with weather ball. We've even added more to that. Slips, change of direction, everything is impacted by the weather. And now you're seeing stuff like dynamic accumulation and surface collision. Well, really, what does that mean? Snow can pile up, and hell, if your player decides to lay down in the snow and do a snow angel, you'll see it too. But just shout out to everybody that made this happen, because both from a gameplay standpoint, an artistic standpoint, an immersion standpoint, this is awesome. This is really what home field really reminds me of, and it's just immersion 101. All right, coming down to the home stretch. Play your way. What tools are we giving you as the user to play your way? First, we're talking coach mode, baby. We are talking coach mode. In coach mode here, we have got coach mode specific cameras for you. You got a plethora of different options that you can use. When you call a play, you can now select the primary receiver on that play. You can audible, you can hot route. All of those things are at your disposal. But the cool wrinkle here, one of my favorite wrinkles when it comes to coach mode for the people that want to use it, is no different than real life. The headset shuts off under 15 seconds. So at that point, you just got to just trust your signal caller to make the play. Next is play call substitutions. This is just a quality of life feature. Last year, we introduced dynamic substitutions where you can sub on the fly. Our goal here is to keep you out of the pause menu. But one thing you asked us for was that I want to sub before the play. A guy's banged up, wear and tear, he's a little rattled, he's like Chad playing at USC. We got to get him out of the game. So again, you can go ahead and make that substitution right away. Jump the snap. An awesome defensive end, defensive line move where you can really enhance how well and how fast you get off the ball. I'm not going to spoil what RTG has for you, but you're going to see there's a lot here and where you could use this. The tackle stick. Now you no longer have to come off the stick to really make a play. Down is still cut stick, up is still hit stick. Left is lunge, and right is wrap. So you're all there. You can use all those 4 options right there on the right stick to tackle how you want. And then the big thing, which I think a lot of you are going to like and prefer, for a lot of you competitive guys out there, I didn't think I should drop that ball. I should have caught that. This is just an ongoing debate that's happened for 30 years, right? Because you've been subject to the dice rolls. Well, now, if you choose, you can now turn on timing-based catching, and you decide those outcomes. And then the last one's bringing it home was pre-play controls. It was about time that we made some controls, but with these controls, I promise you, you are faster than ever. And then last but not least, some of you tried to leak this online. I saw it. And you got kind of close, but you'll be even more excited because we got a lot more here than you even put in your videos. But again, winners win. You are not going to get us. So lock in for one of the best features that this studio has ever released. All right, let's talk timing-based catching. You got 3 different colors you really have to worry about. You got red, which means you're late. As soon as this thing hits the red, it's a drop. You've got yellow. Yellow it is now subject to the dice roll. Your yellow size is dependent on the ratings of your receiver. Again, you're a little early, you get yellow, you're going to get a drop. You may get a catch. I don't know, same thing as it was before. And then there's green. Oh, the kids love green. They love it in every sport. We're green, okay? We got green here. But the great thing about this with green is it's dynamic. How good is your receiver? All right, what situation's in? Is he covered? Are you going for an aggressive catch, a secure catch? Over the years, catching traffic, toe drag swag, mossing somebody, right? That has just all been dice rolls. We've never really been able to solve that other than just giving you the best, based on player and matchup result. That is the most realistic football. But now this is all in your hands. Next, we move into our pre-play controls. And again, let's talk about pre-play controls. When we talk about pre-play controls, we first need to address accessibility. The analogy that I've given everybody here in the studio is that our previous control scheme, especially defensively, is like those who have kids and you're telling them to go clean their room. Usually what happens is they find open spaces, start shoving toys and everything into open spaces, and nothing really gets organized or cleaned properly. An example of that is last year. Up was substitutions, down toggled cameras. Left and right, for some reason, was toggling your defensive line and linebackers, right? Contextually, that didn't make a lot of sense. But we've been trying to add so many new features and give you guys all the power we can. We just needed to go back to the drawing board here. And again, we've done plenty of research. This is no strategy pad where we're adding more clicks. You are faster than ever before. And it all starts here. One of the first examples is just D-line. You want to change your D-line linebackers? It's all right there on the right stick. But you want to change everything and make multiple adjustments at one time. Everything this year starts off of the left trigger in your global coverage adjustment HUD. As you hold that up, you will be able to change your leverage, your technique, and your smart zones. And you can do all of that fast. You don't have to keep entering different HUDs and states. So making multiple adjustments here, like I'll show you in a sec, would have taken you 10 plus clicks. No longer is that the case. And then my favorite part about what we've done here is I've had not just new players, I've had fans that have played this game every year, and they only do a certain amount of adjustments just because of the sweatiness, as the people in the streets like to say, of our pre-play control system. I just want to double team a receiver. How do I just roll coverage over somebody? So now when you're holding left trigger, all of the receiver icons will pop up. Pick that corresponding receiver and then just press square, and now you're double teaming them. And then let's say Chad says, that's too aggressive. I don't want to do all that. I just want to roll coverage over him and just take my safety over the top of where he's at. You got that option too. Pick the corresponding receiver, press A or X, and you're good to go. Okay, and then now as you'll see here in this video, here I am using our global custom adjustments. And this is just an opportunity to show you that you can make multiple clicks, be as fast as you can. And again, you don't have to enter different states. In fact, that we have put this through an entire AI model as well to confirm that you are 1 to 5 to 8, maybe 10 plus clicks saved, that we've saved you over time adding this. Will it take some learning? Absolutely, and some muscle memory, especially of the vets out there, but trust us, you'll thank us later. All right, now let's move to it. We're in the home stretch, custom adjustments. Again, a lot of you have heard about this. This is basically your super macro power here, and to make multiple adjustments and really be like your favorite signal caller, right? So this all starts with being able to create the custom adjustment. You'll go into the front end, and really every adjustment that we have from a coaching adjustment perspective, a hot route perspective, is all in your hands on both offense and defense. So you will come in here, pick whatever adjustments that you want to call, and then you will save them, and you can save 20 on offense and 20 on defense. But the kicker here is that you can only take 10 into each game. So there is game planning that is going on with this. Once you've made your custom adjustment, so one adjustment could be, I'm going to pinch the line, I'm going to play my corners tight, I'm going to move my corner depth. All right, you can then save that and then call that right here at play call. And then if you'd say, no, I'm going to wait later, I can call it at pre-play and really shake the defense up. And then my favorite part of custom adjustments is we have a lot of core football fans who have played this game for a long time that I talked about earlier. And they know they're playing with their buddy on the couch. They're playing online. And they know, hey, Farrells is going to scramble. That's all he does is scramble out. Now, L1 is the custom adjustment button. You hit L1 and all of these base adjustments are there. So you can stop a quarterback from scrambling, play short routes. You want to stay over the top and not allow any deep passes. You're looking for the screens or any type of RPO situation, hit that. So you just L1, pick that corresponding button. And then we've even got some other special ones too, right? You wanted to disguise coverage or fake your blitz, right? That is all now really at the hands of simply 2 clicks. So this feature is accessible for anybody new coming in or our 1% competitive core players that are as good as it gets. So you've heard everything now that we have with the core of the American football of what we're doing here. So again, what are you looking for? What's that gameplay differentiation to feel like? What should I expect? And what you're going to expect is on the sticks, you're going to see a wide open, just like you've seen before, a very 25 feel in terms of locomotion, but a more authentic defensive style on college. And then in Madden, the game is faster. It is. Players are rated higher. The game is just tighter. It's that pro level precision. Playbooks, we've already talked about that, but in college, it's about tempo, creativity, the wide splits of Oklahoma and Tennessee, and then you look at the deeper schemes, more compressed, chess-level strategy, that McVay-Shanahan tree of the zone scheme, it is all there in Madden football. And then coverage. Again, what you see is more or less of what you get. You see some flat alignments out there. You see a little rotation. The college game is definitely smarter than what it used to be, but you got bigger windows in the zone. Again, these are student athletes. Yes, they're paid, but they're still student athletes. Where in coverage here, you got a lot more disguised looks, simulated pressures, and just overall smarter adjustments and more adjustments that they can go to in their tool shed. The smarter game is in Madden football. And then in the trenches, you're talking just chaos in the box, bigger run lanes. In Madden, you're seeing tighter gap integrity, really player differentiation and team differentiation in both games and how they're filling the box. And then AI play, right? Big emphasis on AI play. But what's Mendoza going to look like after last year? What does that rookie quarterback look like when he walks in? We wanted to make sure that we are replicating that to its most authentic level. Because these quarterbacks in the NFL level, like my guy Stafford, the MVP, these guys are surgeons. And abilities. Again, we just went over that. You got your stock abilities, you got your percent progression in college. In Madden, they're unlimited. Stars are feeling like stars. And then at home field advantage, crowd energy becomes a weapon. And then now in Madden, as you've wanted, it's really all about noise management and executing under pressure. And there's nothing like being able to swag out with your favorite player, right? And so now you've got 50 different inputs on both college and Madden to let you taunt how you want, do pageantry celebrations in college. Again, the world is your oyster here. So again, I'd like to thank you. This is the most authentic, in-depth game we've ever shipped. There are features in here that are as deep and better than anything that we've ever done. We are excited for you to get your hands on both college and Madden. You're going to feel that true differentiation that you've always wanted and been feeling over the past couple of years. So I thank you. Prepare for one hell of a football season. I'm excited to see you guys on the sticks. All right, back to the guys in the studio.
Welcome back to the showcase. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. We are here talking Madden NFL 27. And because there's not much news in the football world right now, we decided to bring Myles Garrett on stream to talk now. I am here with Clint Oldenburg, line producer, Madden NFL at EA Sports. Clint, thank you for being here.
Yeah, pumped to be here. I don't know if I can live up to Myles Garrett, though.
Well, but we'll save your reaction to the trade for maybe Thursday. We'll let you formulate get all your thoughts in order. Clint, right off the bat, what are you most excited for players to see in Madden NFL 27?
Well, I know that everyone's here to see the game and see all the new things that are coming in the game and the innovations that we have. But what I get most excited about these events is to put faces with our developers. I like our players and the media to be able to see who we are as people. We're just as passionate as they are. We love the sport just as much as they are. And I get really excited for our people to get some exposure with our players.
Fantastic. And you now line producer with Madden NFL 27. Tell us a little bit about what that role means and how you're combining, previous experiences.
That's a great question. So for anyone on the call here that is familiar with me from previous years, you might remember me as the gameplay guy. I've always presented on behalf of gameplay. So I was the production director on gameplay for at least the last 5 years. I recently took a new role with the organization. I'm now the line producer of Madden. OG has come up. He's running gameplay now. And I'm responsible for Madden Core. I took over for Mike Mahar, who a lot of the people on the call also know. He's now the American football executive producer. So some role changes, but just like always, we're just here to make football games.
Love it. Thank you, Clint. So we're going to keep taking your questions. And, before we jump in, we're going to have Clint walk us into, the Madden NFL 27 breakdown.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to talk to you all on the call today and first let you know what you can expect today from our team. And we're going to start by talking about you first, the fans, creators, our players. I'm going to start with just a really quick story from my background. When I was playing college football at Colorado State, I was chosen my senior year to be a chaperone for our recruits. And I had a conflict come up and I had to go to our recruiting coordinator. And I said, what do you want me to do? I got this conflict. I got this thing that I got to do with the guys on the team. Same day we got these recruits. And he said, let me tell you something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And I do. And the coach said to me, there's no players more important in our program than our current players. They're the most important. We can always adjust to the new recruits. And that's what I want to pass along to our players. There's nobody more important to us than the players that play our game every single year. It's your game, and your feedback matters more than anything else to us. Nothing makes our people happier than when we get a good story from a player who really loves playing Madden NFL. And to support that, I created a Slack channel a couple of years ago. It's called the Core Player Feedback Channel. This is our most active channel of all of our mini Slack channels, and almost half of our team are active in this channel. And anytime anyone posts something on social media or around the video game universe at large, it gets posted in there and we have discussions about what we might do about a complaint or how we might build on something that players really like. So it's your game and we're really glad that you're here to share it with us. Secondly, we're going to talk about us next. So you're going to hear from some really passionate individuals that are just as passionate about this sport and this game as you are. And many of us started right where you are. A lot of us have played the game our entire lives. Some of our earliest gaming memories are with Madden. The people you're going to hear from today are working hard to final the game. We still got a couple more weeks to get this thing out the door. So what you're going to see is not yet finished, but these people are representing our larger team. They love this sport and they work very hard, and I'm really excited that you get to hear from them today. As we continue to make changes to our game each year, there's two things that we're never going to change. Those are our table stakes, our authenticity and our innovation. These are the things that you've come to expect from Madden for almost 40 years now. That's weird to say, 40 years. This is at the core of everything we do. Specifically, you're going to hear today from presentation, art, and visuals on all the details they're putting into the game to make our game more authentic. Why do we do that? That's what our players tell us that they want the most: authenticity and innovation. Innovation, players always want new experiences and more ways to play the game. We have a key innovation coming in franchise mode that we're really excited to tell you about today. Put those things together, innovation and authenticity, you get the premium Madden experience that our players have come to expect. And this year that also includes a premium PC experience. We're collaborating with our partners on college, and we're going to bring PC up to spec with the rest of our platforms. And our product promise, finally, what's unique about this year, Madden 27? It's your league. Your decisions matter more than ever before. This is all about player agency. And again, this is what players told us they wanted. They want agency and impact in the decisions they make. The NFL is so dynamic today. Every choice has the potential to completely change the landscape of the league, or a career, or a team. We had Phillip Rivers playing, Joe Flacco, meaningful ball last year. The year started with Micah Parsons switching teams. The Patriots completely turned it around, going from 4-13 to 13-4 this year. The league is so dynamic, and we know that our players don't want to just watch that unfold. They want to control the chaos. And what you'll hear today inside of franchise, superstar, even ultimate team, and what you already heard from gameplay is your decisions matter. Truly, this is your league. So buckle your chin straps, lock in. This is Madden 27.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh Lumen, lead designer of Franchise Mode. You guys know that I've worked on this mode on and off for over the last 25 years, and I promise you, I have never been more excited to show you what we've got planned for Franchise this year. You will change the league, your league, one decision at a time. And those decisions are going to be made through something that will change the game forever. Introducing the Persona Engine. In Franchise Mode this year, we're pushing the envelope and doing something no other sports game has ever dreamed of doing before. We're finally making players actually feel human. Every single player has DNA that defines who they are personally. They have a mindset determined by their personal situation and a career focus. What do they personally want to accomplish in the NFL? That's right. For the first time in sports game history, players will now think for themselves. No more mindless robotic behavior that you see in every sports game on the market. 37 players wanting to re-sign their contract on week 3 of the regular season every single year. Players will now evaluate and react to their own careers personally. So I know what you guys are thinking. Is this just more scenarios, more storylines? Nope. In fact, that's not how you're making key decisions anymore. You see, the Persona Engine is allowing us to finally deliver those wish list features you guys have been asking for. That's right. This is the year you've been waiting for. This is your Oprah, you get a car moment. But before we get to that, let's talk about how the Persona Engine changes your week to week, all season. Last year, we introduced weekly strategy, coach abilities, play sheets, a real game planning feature that finally gave you something meaningful to do every week as you prepare for your opponent. But you and I know running a franchise isn't just about game planning, it's also about team planning. And you did that using this in Madden 26. But the franchise team felt like you guys needed something more, something that made you feel like you're actually running an NFL franchise. Thanks to the Persona Engine, we're delivering emergent actions. Our goal is to make your week to week feel less like a chore, less like spam in your inbox, and deliver everything you need to care about. Not spammy, not unorganized. Instead, they're going to be interactive, dynamic, visual, prioritized, and most importantly, relevant. You can even delegate every single emergent action, and we're going to tell you exactly what the plan is to deal with that before you delegate it. There's no guesswork at all. And yes, each one is interactive. You make decisions on every single emergent action. They're not just informational pop-ups anymore. And when you make those decisions, or any other team does, we'll pay it off with an awesome news delivery service. News in Madden 26 was fine, but fine's not good enough, is it? Not when the Persona Engine is able to deliver something more, something bigger. In Madden 27, you'll have a news ticker on every screen. You're not going to miss anything ever. There's also a news center that can be accessed from any screen. Are you in the depth chart, season stats? It doesn't matter where you are. It's always available with the press of a button. And you can filter these stories. If you want to just see stories about your team, the draft, other human-controlled teams, we're giving you complete control. You're even going to get breaking news in picture-in-picture with Scott Hansen Audio. Delivering every important news story around your league. And yes, that means when you trade your first-round pick for a washed-up quarterback, your entire league's going to be notified about it immediately. Think we got something else we can scratch off the wish list? What about an interactive new way to negotiate contracts? I know you guys have asked for that for years. Because this was your negotiation experience in Madden 26, right? Toggle some numbers, you press a button. Every experience kind of always feels the same. But we all know the Persona engine can deliver something more, something better. So we're introducing interactive contract negotiations. A brand new minigame powered by the Persona engine. Negotiations will be challenging, they'll be interactive, and most importantly, they're going to be fun. We're making a video game, not bank software. The Persona engine makes every single negotiation unique, thanks to each player's Persona DNA. Negotiating with Tyreek Hill should feel a lot different than negotiating with Saquon Barkley, right? And as you can see, you're going to have curveballs thrown your way, leaks, rumors, all kinds of stuff that can affect your negotiation in real time. But you can't have new negotiations without real contracts, right? Let's knock off a few more of those wish list items that you've been asking for. That's right. In Madden 27, you're getting guaranteed contracts, void years, contract incentives, no trade clauses, custom contracts. Free agents will sign deals longer than 1 year, and you'll actually be able to negotiate with players for the first time outside of their last year. You guys have asked for all these. We're not delivering 1 or 2 or 3. We're delivering everything here, all thanks to the Persona engine. And I expect that you want more wish list items. So what about a brand new offseason free agency? Introducing Free Agent Frenzy. It's a new offseason live event that lets everyone in your league battle it out to sign the best free agents over a 12-hour period using that cool new negotiation mini game that I showed you. Think of it as the first 12 hours right after free agency opens. Don't worry, we're giving you all the information you need on the screen. You'll see Persona DNA, health, ratings, stats, everything you need that you don't need to go hunt for. Well, that's about it for franchise in Madden 27. But that can't be right. We still got features left on the wish list, right? Yeah, there's a lot more on this wish list, and it's all powered by the Persona engine. I don't know if you guys know how long I've personally waited to read some of these off to you. That day is finally here. Get ready. We're talking about player roles, contract holdouts, trade demands, restricted free agents. What about all of the franchise tags instead of one of them and their tenders? Transition tags, undrafted rookie free agents that you can actually bid on with your buddies in a live event. That's a personal favorite I've wanted for years. All of this is going to be powered by the Persona engine in franchise mode. Plus, yes, there's more. How about a real coach mode for all of you that don't necessarily have the Twitch skills? Shout out to my NFL head coach fans out there. What about real coordinators, dynamic weather, weekly recap 2.0 with player of the week, injury reports? What about tiered abilities that actually progress for players over time? And how about, you're gonna love this one, a special coach archetype that has unique play sheets and abilities you can't find anywhere else in Madden. You only get it if you play Dynasty in college football this year. We're even fixing the Super Sim playbook problem. A lot of you talked to us about using the Bengals playbook, using a 70 overall quarterback, throwing for 4,000 yards. We've got brand new playbooks that fix that problem. How is that for a wish list? Yeah, that's what the Persona engine is unlocking for you in Madden 27. The game has changed, franchise mode has changed forever. Now throwing it over to Spade, who's gonna walk you through Superstar mode.
Thanks, Josh. What's up, everyone? My name is Isaac Etheridge. Most of you know me as Spade, and I'm super excited to walk you through what you can expect in Superstar this year. Let's start with the biggest news of it all. For the first time in history, Superstar mode finally has an end game. Since its inception, Superstar has never really had a North Star. You could play for 30 years, but it was no real journey arc or no real ultimate goal. But this year, you're building a true NFL legacy, and you're chasing football immortality. And that immortality starts with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You can now choose when to retire your superstar. And once you do, voters will evaluate your career in real time. If you make it in, you get the gold jacket, you get the Canton celebration, and you get your own Hall of Fame moment. But just like in real life, there's levels to this Hall of Fame thing. Are you first ballot material, or will it take you a few attempts to get in? You can boost your chances by impressing legends, media personalities, beat writers, and even some celebrities, because popularity definitely plays a role. But be ready to clip that Hall of Fame verdict as the votes are tallied, because it is sure to be a shareable moment. But the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not the only end goal to strive for. Set your sights even higher to try to become the greatest of all time at your position, or as we like to say, the goal is to be GOATed. The second major addition to Superstar's endgame is the new GOAT journey system. As you play, you'll be tracked in 3 major categories: your skill, your accomplishments, and your popularity. Each of these tracks have unique objectives and quests to guide you to the top of the mountain. But legacy is also a two-way street. You can lose standing just as quickly as you can earn it, so making every step of your journey equally important. But what if I told you, even after catching Tom, Dan, Jerry, Randy, and other GOATs, that you could still be one-upped by another superstar? We are absolutely thrilled to announce the league's first socially connected feature that shows you your legacy and where your legacy stands in comparison against other superstars in the community. With the GOAT leaderboard, you can see the best of the best at every position, or you can view the ultimate GOATs regardless of what position they play. This gives a new competitive twist to what has traditionally been an offline game mode. And to help you along your path to greatness, the Sphere of Influence is coming back with a new look and more impactful relationships. It starts with a new interface that provides quicker access to rewards and progression information, including your quest log for leveling up each of these relationships. So now creating bonds with your teammates can unlock powerful composure boosts that can trigger hot streaks for your teammates. But watch out, because poor relationships can make your teammates not care as much and even make them go on cold streaks. We're introducing several new Sphere of Influence characters with unique perks, both on the field and off the field, including one of the most requested features in recent memory. And we're calling this Superstar Powers. Superstars in Madden 27 would be able to take unprecedented control over their career, their team, and even the league around them. Earn enough influence throughout your career, and you will unlock superstar powers that open up entirely new ways to shape the league. You can use that star power to influence free agency, request trades, reshape the roster, and even make franchise-altering decisions as your voice gains more power and more influence in the building. Superstar powers that even let you fast-track parts of your career, including the ability to simulate some games and help you move from season to season. But with more power, as you know, comes more consequence. You can now be benched, traded, or even flat out cut. And if that happens, you might have to fight your way back from the practice squad. And consequence can come at any stage of your career, so don't feel too comfortable just because you feel like you've made it to a certain tier of superstar status. Just like in the real NFL, even the brightest stars can dim when they aren't meeting expectations. Now, as in years past, your performance on the field would be dictated by the skills and the abilities that you developed. But this experience this year is deeper, is more impactful, is more tangible than anything you've ever seen from us. Progression has been completely redesigned in Madden NFL 27 with a focus on expanded choice. So this year we're giving you multi-tiered skill paths, introducing countless possibilities, and that comes with a lot of decision making for you. The abilities are directly integrated into the skill paths, and we've made a lot of changes to the way they work. So a previous loadout system limited the number of abilities that a superstar could equip. But we believe superstars are superstars because they do so many things so well. So now, you can have an endless number of abilities all active at the same time. You just have to earn them. We've also divided new skills and abilities into distinct categories, maximizing their input and letting them shine on their own. So you'll now have core, mental, physical, specialty, and X factor, and each of them have their own means of progression, meaning you'll need to focus on specific areas when you want to develop that area. The days of you being able to just catch a bunch of passes and use that to upgrade your speed is gone. This is the deepest progression system we've ever had. But skills and abilities only matter if they have meaningful impact once you step on the field. This year, the Superstar team worked closely with the gameplay team to push the boundaries of what a player-like experience could feel like inside of Madden. The result is a new level of on-the-field power, emergent mechanics, responsiveness, and all of it is designed to make your Superstar feel more dynamic than ever. Now, let me show you a couple of examples. Here's the play-action specialty tree. Now, this is one of the favorites in the office. The play-action rating has been something that I'm willing to bet few players even thought about. Well, that's about to change. Your quarterback can now develop a new mechanic that allows them to abort a play action and then fire a pass at a receiver before they even finish that off. Now, it's going to take you finishing this skill tree to be able to have that ability. Not only will there be several of these mechanics at every position, but we'll also be releasing new ones throughout the year as part of our live service plan. In fact, I hear it's even a crazy evolution of one of Madden's most iconic mechanics. So on top of new stick mechanics, we're also introducing game visuals that mimic real-life mental abilities. Take a look at this example. The best quarterbacks in the league have like a sixth sense. They know when the pass rush is coming. You hear commentary say they can feel the pass rush. Visual cues like this, what you see here is something that we're calling a pressure detector system. The screen will actually flash red to indicate to you where pressure is coming from so that you can keep your eyes downfield, and out of the side of your eye, you can feel that pressure. And you can see that this power, when it's paired with other powers, can make you feel like a completely different player. Now imagine you call a play action play, you drop back to pass, you feel the pressure, your screen is flashing red, you cancel the play action, and then you rifle a dot to your receiver in the seam for 6. This is the type of power we're talking about giving players in Madden 27 Superstar. And you're gonna need all the skills that you can gather along the way to overcome some of the weekly challenges this year, including epic showdowns with the NFL's biggest stars. As you play through the NFL season, you'll encounter boss battles, key games against some of the NFL's most ferocious competitors. And these NFL superstars will be gunning for you with boosted ratings, enhanced abilities, and in some cases, permanently turned on X factors. The entire week will be themed around this face-off, and you'll be given special challenges that'll help you neutralize that boss player en route to winning the game. And last but not least, the all-new Superstar HUD will bring you all the critical information you need while you're on the field. No longer will you have to pause the game to track objectives, monitor your wear and tear, or check the influence that you have with your teammates. All of this information will be available in an on-demand interface for you to quickly scroll to see the exact information you want to see, exactly when you want to see it. So from building your legacy and chasing GOAT status to reshaping your franchise and dominating on the field, Superstar Mode in Madden NFL 27 delivers our deepest and most engaging NFL career experience yet. And it doesn't stop at launch, as Superstar will now feature a full live service calendar for the first time ever. Create your Superstar and jump in. We can't wait to watch you become legendary. Now coming up next, you'll hear from Davis and Jesse on what's new in Ultimate Team.
Thanks, Spade. Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse Juneau, lead producer on College Ultimate Team at EA Sports.
And I'm Davis Porchot, lead producer on Madden Ultimate Team.
Today, we're excited to walk you through what's new across Ultimate Team in College Football 27 and Madden NFL 27.
This year, both teams focused on giving players more control over how they build and manage their roster throughout the season.
In College Ultimate Team, that means more flexibility and school identity.
And in Madden Ultimate Team, it's about lineup strategy and competition as the season evolves.
One of the biggest additions for both Ultimate Team modes this year is the new upgrade system. This new system brings player upgrades in Ultimate Team more in line with franchise and dynasty modes. At the center of that system are skill points, which are tied directly to individual player items. In College Ultimate Team, players can earn skill points through gameplay objectives, exchanging items, and converting currencies like training, coins, season trophies, and more. From there, you decide how you want to invest into your roster. Maybe you want your running back to feel explosive in space, focusing on acceleration and agility. Or maybe you want that same item to become more physical and power-driven with trucking and strength. Those decisions now create much more meaningful differences between builds over time.
And in Madden Ultimate Team, that same system becomes a major part of lineup strategy. Skill points directly influence how a player's ratings develop over time. So, two players at the same position can develop very differently depending on how they fit into your lineup. Maybe you want a receiver built around separation and route running. Or maybe you want to lean into physicality and contested catches. X factors, abilities, chemistries, and upgrade paths all connect back into how you build your ultimate team lineup. We also added major quality of life improvements to make upgrading your players a smoother experience. You can now fully respec eligible player items and refund spent skill points in just a few clicks, making it much easier to adjust your strategy as the season changes. The goal was to make upgrading feel faster, cleaner, and more strategic across Ultimate Team.
Another major addition this year is objectives on items. Specific players in your lineup can now earn skill points directly through short and long-term gameplay objectives tied to that item. If you want your wide receiver to continue developing, you might complete objectives related to receiving yards and scoring touchdowns, then use the earned skill points to go down your desired path. This creates a much tighter connection between gameplay performance and roster progression. Feeling rewarded for your on-field play is something we really wanted to strengthen this year, so progression feels much more connected to what you're actually doing on the field. You can also view objectives directly from the lineup screen, favorite objectives for tracking during games, and reference them during play call. Our aim is to keep your objectives right at your fingertips, whether you're in-game or managing your lineup.
One of the biggest changes to Madden Ultimate Team in years is the introduction of a new item type, Evos. Evos create entirely new ways to build and boost your lineup, unlocking new upgrade paths, expanding chemistry options, adding abilities, and even increasing a player's max OVR. So if you have an eligible quarterback you love using, you can apply something like a gunslinger ability Evo to further specialize and evolve that player to fit your playstyle. Some Evos are self-contained, while others can chain together to keep your most impactful players on your lineup longer. Evos allow for better long-term roster strategy throughout the season. All of these systems culminate into your Ultimate Captain. Your Ultimate Captain is designed to be the foundation of your lineup throughout the year. You can choose any core player to build around and upgrade through objectives, progression systems, and Evos. Whether that's a scheme fit, someone you want to center your competitive strategy around, or even just your favorite player, your Ultimate Captain gives your lineup a clear identity. The Ultimate Captain is really about giving you your ultimate team. We want players to have more control over the identity, direction, and long-term strategy of their lineup from day one. And if your strategy changes later in the season, you can swap captains and take your lineup in a completely different direction. That flexibility was really important for us because we know lineup strategy changes constantly throughout the year.
Keep an eye out for Evos and our take on Ultimate Captions in College Football 27. They'll be coming in a future title update. For College Ultimate Team specifically, we're also really excited to introduce Core Legends. This year, over 100 former college football players across over 60 schools will be available starting on day one of early access. For us, this is about giving players more ways to represent their schools and build around names they remember from college football history. And because Core Legends come equipped with archetype upgrade paths and objectives on items, players can continue upgrading those items throughout the season. We're also making several broader updates across College Ultimate Team. You'll see more dedicated field passes tied to individual programs, more set options based on community feedback, and improvements to the new user experience to make onboarding feel more natural for players jumping into Ultimate Team. Also, scheme and team chemistry boosts will no longer impact speed. Instead, they will upgrade a broader sweep of stats across your players, including ones that go beyond a +2 bonus.
And in Madden Ultimate Team, we're continuing to evolve the competitive and live content experience across the mode. Ranked is receiving updates to matchmaking and division structure, designed to create a more competitive and rewarding environment at every level. At the highest ranks, losses are more impactful and wins are more meaningful. And for our solo players, progression and rewards will feel clearer and more consistent across solo seasons, solo champions, events, and challenges.
We're super excited for players to jump into Ultimate Team this year. Be sure to check out the Campus Huddle for even more details on College Ultimate Team and everything coming to College Football 27.
And check out Gridiron Notes for a deeper look at Madden Ultimate Team. Plus, more details coming as we head towards launch. Next up, you'll hear from Yinka on all things visual in Madden 27.
All right, everybody, what's going on? My name is Yinka Halade. I'm the character artist for College Football and Madden 27. I'm going to go over the visual enhancements in Madden 27, starting off with secondary motion. In-game visual authenticity begins with what players are doing once the ball is snapped. You all want things closer to reality, and that's what we are here to give you. For Madden NFL 27, one of our visual pillars is secondary motion. What that means is all the little secondary movements that happen on the player, we're using all those to take this motion to the next level. And with that, you can see things like this where we have the dangling mouthpiece that's hanging off of the player's mouth. And then we're also doing different things that's going to look really, really cool. Now our helmets, they jiggle and they move and they jostle all around. So whether a player is jogging, running, getting tackled, how their helmet moves affects that physics and that movement. These small movements bring a lot more realism to the game, but with that, we didn't stop there. We also went in and we adjusted the pass sizes to match real life because that is the things that you guys were asking for. You asked for it and now we're trying to deliver. We listen and see all the comments that you guys give us, so when you're posting on social media, we're out there, we're lurking in the comments, and we're actually reading your comments and actually making sure that we can actually bring the things that you guys want to the game. Helmet size and tilt tuning are all in the game now. So one of the things that we saw is that sometimes the helmets were a little bit too small and they weren't tilted the right way. So in order to be authentic as possible, we were looking at making the helmets the right size, giving them the right tilts and the right angles. So with all this all fits in the secondary motion, but it's not just for the players. This is also for our referees, have it too. So with our referees, we added cloth dynamics. So now when you see the refs, when they're calling the PI, an offsides, a holding call, all that would look better than ever now. Refs are also now out here throwing flags. So all their movement with secondary motion just brings more and more life to Madden and makes it look a lot more to what you see on Sundays. And then next up, I want to go over what we have now, which is dynamic weather. We are continuing to bring you the best visuals in sports gaming with dynamic weather, and with that comes dynamic snow. So pretty much what this means is we're going to have dynamic accumulation of snow throughout the game. And with that, you're going to see different surface collisions where the players are actually hitting the snow, sliding through it, and actually making different deformations to the snow as it accumulates. Right here, we have the Chiefs at the Broncos. The Broncos are in Denver. It's cold at Empire Field, and Mile High is very unforgiving to visitors in the winter. Now, you can start off a game where there's no snow, and it slowly progresses play to play, period to period, to heavy snow. As the game continues on, you will see the snow accumulate more and more on the field. And with that, you'll see every step, every fall, every slide is imprinted on the field by the absence of the snow in those areas. These visual changes in the game bring you more realism in that true NFL experience when it comes to having different dynamics when it comes to weather, and mainly right here, what we're talking about with the snow. As you can see right here, you can see every footstep, you can see the field degradation of the snow. It brings a lot more realism and makes it look a whole lot cooler. And with that, we didn't just focus just on the actual snow, we're also doing this for rain. So now rain is dynamic, and rain can be dynamic both ways. You can start a game where there's no rain, and then the rain gets light, and then the rain becomes very heavy between plays or even between the periods. Or you can start off a game where the rain is actually very heavy, and then it gets lighter throughout the game. These visual differences make it look super cool and make everything feel a lot more authentic and a lot more realistic. And with these updates to snow dynamics and rain dynamics, with that, we knew we had to go in and also update our degradation system. So with that, in the first time ever in Madden, you'll actually see snow on the players' jerseys, their pants, their whole entire uniforms. You'll actually see snowdrops and different things like that. And also because football is a very hard game, we got the players that run around, they're sweating, they're working hard. You'll start seeing the sweat accumulate on the players' jerseys and their pants, where you'll see that their actual uniforms are getting a little bit darker as it gets saturated with sweat. And over here on the right, you can see our players, they're a lot dirtier now. So now you're gonna see dirt and grime everywhere. You'll see it on their shoes, you'll see it on their socks, their jerseys, their pants, their helmets, all over the place. We're trying to make sure that when you're playing the game, you feel like your players are working hard, you feel like they're out there in the gridiron, getting dirty, in the trenches, making those plays. And you'll visually see that on your players now a lot more in Madden 27. And with that, we're gonna move on to dynamic lighting. Now, with dynamic lighting, one of the things that we want to achieve is that we realized that we had an East Coast bias, and now that bias is gone. When it came to it before, the time of day was pretty much the same whether you're on the West Coast or the Midwest or the East Coast. Now, the West Coast time at 5:15 p.m. PST looks truly like a West Coast time. We have different sun positions that deal with what the sun looks like on the West Coast versus what it looks like on the East Coast, and we take those positions and we deal with them during the actual calendar year. So where the sun position is in January is very different than where the sun position is in September, whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast. And with that, I want to show you some of our new actual skies that we have. So we're doing this for clear skies, partly cloudy, and overcast. We have different sun angles to add a whole lot more realism to what you see in the game. And with that, I want to give you guys a little sneak peek at our upgraded team selection screen. Here is where you select your teams, right? And here you can see right now, this is a representation of the Super Bowl that just happened with the Seahawks and the Patriots. But in the background, you can see that nice little partly overcast, cloudy sky at that time of when the Super Bowl is, where it's right in between twilight going into night. And it looks really, really cool. Next, we're going to talk about Sights and Sounds 2.0 for Madden 27. So when it comes to what you see on Sunday, we want to get as close as possible to that. Different uniforms, different stadium dressings. For an example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they come out with their creamsicle jerseys, they change out the field walls, they change out the end zone, the mid logo, and now we also do that too, and we also switch out the mascot. So when you wear your creamsicle uniforms with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to get Bucko Bruce as your mascot. But if you go with the more traditional loadout with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you'll get the regular mascot that comes out, which is Captain Fear, and the regular stadium loadout that you're used to looking at. And we're here, this gives you a view of the field from the bird's eye of what it looks like to change out the stadium's look based on the uniform the team is actually wearing. NFL teams do this across the board, and we're trying to make sure that we're matching all that to the T to give you exactly what you see on Sundays. We're also adding in new stadiums. So every year, teams are always like adding in new stadiums here and there, and here's a new stadium for the Buffalo Bills. It's currently a work in progress. We're still working on it, but when it's done, it's in the game. And with that, the NFL has been going out and playing their games in vastly different countries. The NFL has a number of games outside of the United States, and we want to represent that as closely as possible. Here is Melbourne Creek Ground Stadium, located in East Melbourne, Australia. This will be the first game, the first regulation game ever in the NFL season held out in Australia. So we want to make sure that we actually had that stadium and we matched it up. And who's going to be out there? It's going to be the LA Rams versus the 49ers, and it's going to be September of this year. And added to that, now you can take your team and you can practice your best bread and butter plays in the new indoor practice facility. In there, you can do full-on team 11-on-11 or just the offense. Now there's a new practice venue in Madden, and you're taking it into the indoors. And with that, I want to touch on our avatar advancements, and we will show you some of the updates we've done for the player and coach avatars in Madden 27. For the coach avatar, we now bring a bunch of new gear options for you. So now we're giving you the opportunity to decide whether you want to be a coach that wears a hat or wears a visor, or you can decide that you don't want to wear either one of those. And with that, you can decide what kind of headset do you want? Do you want the ear to be on the right, the left, or do you want the double earmuffs, right? And with that, we brought a whole bunch of new clothing items with tops and different bottoms to allow you to give your coach a little bit more personality on the sideline. And then for your superstar avatar, we have 32 brand new player heads to choose from. And what we want to do this year is make sure that those heads feel a lot younger, as if they're coming right out of college, because when you start your superstar experience, you're starting at the combine. So with that, we also want to make sure that we had a lot more variety in races and looks, because since the NFL was so worldwide now, if you look at college, we have a lot of different players, whether they're white, Hispanic, black, Asian, they're all playing football, and a lot of these players are now actually entering the NFL, so we want to make sure we put that representation in there. And then with that, we also added the brand new lean body type. So now you have 5 different body types that you can choose from when you're making your superstar player. And with that 5th body type, it allows you to make sure that you have that perfect look that you're trying to get. With that, we added in better and finer details to all the heads and the faces that you can actually pick up in there. And now the superstar player visuals have hit a new level in Madden 27. And here, we're going to go over some of our authenticity updates. So, by the way, I just want to make sure that you're looking at this and you know that these are not photographs. This is what Madden 27 looks like today. And in the NFL is always honoring players. So every year we have our MVP, we have our offensive players of the year, defensive players, rookies, offensive and defensive players of the year. And with that, when you win that award, you have a gold NFL shield that is on your jersey. We want to make sure that we had that same exact detail in the game, and we have that in the game now. So when you do play Madden 27, you'll see that these players right here have the golden NFL shields on their actual uniforms. And then another small but major detail that we're adding is the new first down arrow and pylons. So you can see right here, they're new, they got the cameras on there, and they're fully dynamic too. So if you're out there trying to avoid a tackle running out of bounds, you can knock that thing over and it'll just go flying everywhere. And with authenticity comes in new rookies. And these new rookies are people who could potentially become future faces of the NFL, which means that we want to make sure that we represent them really good and true to their likeness. So first here we have the Raiders QB and the first pick of the NFL draft with Fernando Mendoza. And now here he's looking nice, he's looking crisp, he has a really good groomed hairstyle going on, and he looks very authentic to what he looks like in real life. I'm wishing him luck out there because taking that Raiders job is definitely going to be something that's going to be tough and very challenging, but I'm hoping for the best. And then again, I want to reiterate here that these are not photographs. This is literally what Madden 27 looks like in real time. So right here, we're showing off Jeremiah Love, who's the #1 3 overall draft pick, and he's a running back for the Arizona Cardinals. And you can see here, we're trying to get every detail possible, every pore, every bump, getting their beard, their hairstyle exactly the way it is, because we're trying to make sure that we're doing the best likenesses in sports gaming. And then the next player that we have coming up is the last of our rookies that I want to show you today is Mansour Delane. And he's the 6th pick in the NFL draft and the new cornerback of the Chiefs. With this, you can see that he looks amazing. He has his hairstyle. It looks really, really good. We have his face paint. And we're trying to hit all that details to make sure that when you see these players, you know who they are and they're actually looking like what they look like in real life. We have plenty of more rookies and likenesses added to the game that I can't show you today because it would take too long. And also with that, we're adding in new veterans and pros likenesses also into the game. So I can't wait to show you guys more player likenesses up until the release of Madden 27. And then with that, I want to talk about some other signature details that are small things, but they're big details that make the NFL the NFL. So with that, we want to start off with our cover athlete, Caleb Williams. We had to get his famous painted fingernails in the game. It's part of his swagger, it's part of his style. And I'm showing you right here painting on his fingernails that it's in the game. And with that, next up, every year, we always got to have new uniforms that come in from different teams. So right here, the Tennessee Titans, they came in with new uniforms that look amazing. They look awesome. And right here, you can also still see our secondary motion where you see the mouthpiece that is dangling off of the face mask of this Tennessee Titans player. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not really a fan of the Tennessee Titans, but I'm a big fan of this new uniform they got. It's completely dope and it is awesome. And then with that, the Washington Commanders with their new black on black on black on black on black uniforms. I love the new W with the Arrowhead logo they have going on the helmet. And to me, I think this is going to be the go-to uniform for all the Washington fans out there. This is one of the more dope uniforms I see up there in the NFL that's coming out, and it looks amazing. And then with that, as we did last year, we're continuing this year, we're continuing the NFL rivalry uniforms, and they're back. So we partnered with the NFL to highlight these 8 teams' new rivalry uniforms in Madden 27. Now, I can't show you these new uniforms yet because these teams haven't revealed them, so you'll have to wait. But trust me, we have them up in there, and they look truly unique and super amazing. I truly think the fans will really be happy to actually check out these rivalry uniforms and actually use them in the game because they're going to be some of the more unique ones you'll see. And one of the things I want to close this out with that I want you all to know that this is the fastest Madden game ever. And by that, this is what I mean. Now, our fans who are playing our game on the Nintendo Switch 2 can enjoy 60 frames per second in the gameplay. So now you get nice, fluid gameplay with the amazing Madden NFL visuals that you're used to. And then also on the PS5 Pro, we are blazing now. Now on the Pro, frame rates are 100 plus, giving us the smoothest, silkiest gameplay ever in the Madden NFL franchise. Now you can play games up to 100 plus FPS, and it's truly a game changer. I'm telling you right now, I've tried it out, I played it, and it's definitely gonna be the way I'm playing this year, and I don't think I can go back playing the other way. I need those 100+ frames because how smooth it looks, it just makes it so much better to play. So with that, again, my name is Jinka Alade. I'm the character director for college football at Madden 27. I'm glad to show you what's coming to Madden 27, and now I'm gonna pass it over to Rocky, who's gonna show you some awesome updates to Madden 27's presentation.
Hey everyone, Rocky here, and we've got some exciting new presentation features coming to Madden NFL 27. On the Prez team, we love to give our players what they want, like authenticity, of course, and to delight them in ways they did not expect. So that's why we began the show with something players want, like more NFL traditions, and something unexpected, like the remake you heard of a classic Madden theme song. And speaking of traditions, I gotta say, that memorable scene from earlier today of the skydivers in Denver, it's one of my personal favorites. It began as a storyboard on this whiteboard and grew into a partnership with the Battlefield team for art and animation assets. We love getting to those details because, as my friends say on college football, every team is someone's favorite. So with that said, your favorite team selection will now be represented in the main menu with premium content from NFL Films. Choose the Bears, for example, and you'll see our cover athlete in acknowledgement of your fandom. Last year, we introduced a variety of sights and sounds with our broadcast packages, including an exceptional collection of custom audio and visuals for primetime games on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Players and reviewers loved it, so now we're back with seasonal broadcast packages for games around Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. And these seasonal variations are not limited to franchise and superstar based on the virtual in-game calendar. You'll also see and hear these new broadcast packages in Play Now, Online Head-to-Head, and Ultimate Team based on the real-world calendar. Here's a montage. Earlier today, you heard from Lumen about the many, many updates coming to franchise where your decisions matter, including your choice of coordinators. Perhaps one of them is Brian Flores, operating from the sideline like he does in real life, guiding the defense. But if he changes his mind and decides to move to our new press box, well, yeah, we've got that covered. Our halftime report is back with its patent-pending innovation that unlocked the ability to see highlights from your friends' games in your online franchise and to hear about them from our beloved host, Scott Hansen of NFL Red Zone. We also show CPU highlights as well, like this one, which will be part of a much larger library of highlights this time around as we continue to bring the world around you to life in franchise mode. And then there's the return of the weekly recap and its unprecedented trifecta by including your friends' highlights and CPU highlights and your own highlights as well. We've earned more than 12 million views of the weekly recap since the launch of last year's title, and that number is still climbing even after the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, we've been adding a variety of new segments, which is really just a list of fan requests, like injury reports, the league leaders and various stats, updates on the MVP race, analysis on teams in the playoff hunt, and the latest on trades around the league. We're also going to spotlight a player of the week, which, as you'd expect, is based on performance. So it might be my highlights, or a friend's highlights, or your highlights that we'd all get to see in our online franchise as we collectively discover who won the Player of the Week award and the bragging rights. When Madden NFL 27 launches in August, you're going to hear some iconic and unexpected NFL songs with those highlights that you'll recognize. Believe me, we just couldn't use them here. Because as I mentioned at the beginning, we love to give our players what they want and delight them in ways they did not expect. So on behalf of the presentation team, thanks for your time and inspiration.
All right, I'm ready for football season. It's time to wrap up the College Football 27 and Madden NFL 27 previews you got there. Thank you for being here to learn about the games that have made such a huge impact on all of our lives. Thank you to the developers for their dedication, creativity, and tireless commitment. But most importantly, thank you to you, the players, the loyal Twitch viewers that have been rocking with us all season. We hope you enjoyed your breakdown. We'll see you soon.